Hey, good morning. All right, JasmyCoin got a little pop in the market. Of course, it's up a little bit over 12% now, but got some good news that came out with the Panasonic partnership. So this is pretty good considering Panasonic is a Japanese company as well, and Jasmy Coin is also a Japanese project. So it would make a lot of sense that they will be doing a lot of partnerships in that particular region. Now, here's some of the things that we want to look at. Now, the partnership aims to merge decentralized databases with IoT devices. All right, so IoT devices, the Internet of Things. It's going to be like your wearables technology. Your Fitbits. You're going to also have immersive technology with your environment. So wearing your type of Google or Meta glasses or goggles, so to speak, where you can now be immersive with your environment. Those things are all based off these IoT devices, but it's going to be a lot of data that's going to come through those. And if that data is coming through, where is it going to be stored? All right. And can you monetize that data as an individual and as a corporation? And this is what Jasmine Core really comes in at to marry this relationship. All right. So if you think about the state of the art data locker technology, all right, and then you got Panasonic's expertise in IoT, all right, this is going to be a beautiful partnership that they're going to be able to have. All right. Um, so they want to push out these features designed to push the boundaries of blockchain and IoT integration. And once again, when we have these immersive environments where we have these devices that's tracking things, even in the medical field. There's going to be things that you can wear that's going to detect irregularities of your heartbeat, oxygen levels, all these things. You're going to be able to wear clothes. They got clothes now that can be able to detect certain things. This is happening. Also, it's big in sports. A lot of people don't know about with sports. You see in the NFL, a lot of times, or even in college too, they are tracking things. They want to see how fast these players are running. So they're doing miles per hour, and they're using that as a staple of measurement of a player's ability to have in-game type speed. You also have helmets that have sensors in it that if you get hit, it can tell whether or not that blow was sufficient enough to give you a concussion. So you see all these technologies that are coming out. This is part of IoT. So this is why I'm very, very bullish on Jasmy or IoT devices. Okay, so it's really good. All right. Um, so yeah, you can check out this article. You can go check out any news article on this. It's going to give you some more breakdown on it. All right. So let's go look at how these IoT devices work. Now, this is the Jasmine website. It's pretty sleek, all right? And their whole entire platform is designed for you to be able to connect IoT devices that data can be tracked on their particular platform. So you got the management support, all right? So like I said, they say they'll work with you to develop your IoT business strategy, and we'll be with you every step of the way. But what I want to go down to is I want to go down, all right. Of course, you can see some of the ecosystem, consumer data, secure knowledge communicator, personal data locker. We'll get into some of that as well too. And then secure uh, knowledge communicator. All right. Now here's a good one. The merchant pays Jasmine Coin to use the data. So this is what you really want. You want this in your ecosystem with these crypto projects that these big corporations that's coming in, individuals coming in, you need to pay so you can use this data, but you're going to be paying in Jasmine Coin, which is genius. I like to tell people that's new to crypto, I want you to look at Chuck E. Cheese, all right? If you look at Chuck E. Cheese, you have to go in, you have to take your actual fiat money and you have to convert it into the Chuck E. Cheese tokens, right? And then what do? You participate and you play games using the tokens within Chuck E. Cheese, and you win prizes based off the tokens that you accumulated by playing the games. Well, this is what happens when you build a true ecosystem in a crypto network is that you're now using those tokens or those coins inside of that network. And this is how you make it robust. And now you're able to provide a unique value proposition point. Okay. So that's how you really want to think about it. And when you have these crypto projects, it's like, how's the ecosystem really truly working? Okay. So think about that when you go to Chuck E. Cheese. You remember, you take your dollars and you convert it into tokens and you go in, you have a great time, and then you leave out. Okay. Now here's the good thing. The good thing is, yes, you can cash out and convert it back into fiat, for the most part. You're not able to do that when it comes to the Chuck E. Cheese. You gotta stay in them tokens, right? And if you want to buy something, you gotta buy something with those tokens inside. So it's not you converting back over into dollars or whatnot. All right. So, like I said, the heart is the personal data locker. All right. You can create an environment where users can attribute their data to themselves and decide for themselves what they want to do with it. And what that means is that now you're going to able to sell your data if you have enough data. Now, as an individual, it may not make sense, but for these large corporations, now they can now manage to sell that particular data, and they can track it in real time. All right, so uh, they can provide and offer products and services without having users' information. Uh, by using the service, fresh data generated by IoT devices and other devices will be stored. Okay, in a basically our personal data locker, and service providers will be able to promote new business utilizing the data. Now, here's one of the things I want to look at. All right. Here's the secure knowledge communicator. And this is what I was talking about. You can achieve, I'm sorry, yeah, uh, data democratization by controlling, managing, and tracing your own data by yourself. And then for companies or organizations, you can access and use personal data appropriately and when necessary instead of keeping records in house. So this helps big time with not having records in house. You can decentralize it, which is good, which means that when you have these places that get hacked, you don't have everything on a central server. So this is really good as well too. All right. So in addition to providing information to a company, the user will be able to control and track it, including the rights of accepting or denying the use of it. Facebook uses your data all the time, but you don't get what I'm saying. You don't have the right of accepting or denying it. Now I know some people look at cookies and look at cookies like that, but this is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be very, very detailed. Okay. All right. So you got different components of it. All right. You got the IoT and the reward system. All right. Just as personal data has been concentrated with centralized companies, and these companies that use it are more and more dominating the world. We are now aware that personal data turns out to be the new oil of the digital age. So this is wonderful again, and that is true. Okay. Now, they believe that there should be a fair economic environment in which companies that use this resource data pay each data producer a fair price. So it's a reward. All right. So I want you guys to think about this stuff. Whenever you have these free websites, whenever you have these free services, you know, all the data that's going to be used. You're going to have education. Okay, educational institutes, they collect data, they test students, all those things. The question now is going to be, those data points are very good because it it paints a picture. I work for an organization where we have to look at that data. That data tells us a lot. It paints a whole different picture. And you're going to have lots of products, services, innovations going to be built off of data. What does the data say? And with that, you can now position it to create revenue, but more in a democratic, decentralized manner that's not controlled by these huge organizations like Amazon, which control a lot of the storage, game, right? So all these big databases, everything you watching this video, someone has to store this data somewhere. Okay, so this is huge. All right. So I'm not gonna go on everything, but this is what I want to do now is I want to look at the R&D outlook. All right. And this is for Panasonic Group. And let's scroll down and we'll look. So mobility, we know this is, you know, transportation or whatnot, right? So autonomous driving solutions. All right, they want to do obstacle detection, human state recognition, turn perception, dispatch. But these are our IoT devices. This is what JasmyCoin will be partnering with them, helping getting this data out correctly, right? So it could be optimized. All right. Energy efficient power devices, lithium uh, battery systems, all that it needs to communicate. Someone needs to see what this data is doing. Okay. You got lifestyle, you got face authentication in and out, you got face settlement self checkouts. So we're going to self checkouts. What is the technology behind this? You now going to have Jasmy that's behind a lot of these things. Okay. Detection of suspicious persons, origin of life. So, like I told you, the wearables, lifestyle data analysis, right? They got emotion estimation, right? A variable house, okay? In business, unmanned service pot, unmanned delivery robots, which your drones, things like that. That data still has to be tracked, and here's where Jasmy comes in at behavior prediction. Okay, improvement of work capacity, autonomous mobile robot, logistics, transportation. Okay, so and of course you can go in, you can look at the focus technologies and the examples. So let's create one. Let's look at big data since we talked about big data. All right, and it gives a snapshot of what they're really focusing on. So I need you to see that Jasmy is going to be if this is a partnership with them. So they're going to be working on all this data points, creating the products and the services around this, and imagine all the other partnerships that's going to come about using this technology. And this is what we say about what is the use case. And Jasmy has proven this is the use case, and this is what we want. This is what we want to focus on. Okay. Now let's take a look at the chart. All right, I'm just on the 1 hour chart. Of course, we had a bull flag that I've already set up before. Um, in this right here, this box, we have broken out this consolidated zone. All right, so we're looking to probably get back up here and do a double top. Now, with this being said, Jasmy would not be immune to just going and ripping without first showing that, hey, it can break this resistance point. So this is a clear resistance area that it has to break to get to the upside. Now, would I prefer for Jasmine to drop back down to these levels? Oh, of course. Yes. Why? Because I want to get more. I want to get more of these, right? So you also have to play the other side of this. All right. What are some of the downside targets? Okay. These are some key areas down here. The 78% will get us back down to the 0.009. All right. Now, if something like this happens, of course, probably something in the world has transpired to get us down here. Maybe Bitcoin has some struggling. Uh, Maybe post having, there could be that so many people get a bull trap, and we could get a major sell off. We don't know. We don't know. But I don't care because I'm already heavily invested in Jasmine. I still want to provide. I still want to buy additional positions. Now, will I buy in this area? No. Okay. I do want to see this come and pull back down if we get it. If we don't, I'm fine because I already loaded my bags. Okay. When price was clearly in this area. All right. So while price hung out down here for a long time, essentially since September of 2022, price has been hanging in this area, and this is where I've been accumulating and buying. I've hadn't bought anything up here. All right. And we already see for the lows down here all the way up to this high up here, we've already done an 877% gain. So this is the game when you are buying in an accumulation zone, when things are consolidating. That is when we want to strike. Now, with that being said, we can now look at, so we have an impulse. We have this impulse. So we're going to measure this impulse. And with this impulse, we're now going to be able to get some upside targets. Okay. All right. So the next clear target to where price looks like it wants to get to is about 40% away. We're looking at a 3 cent, around 3 cent. Right. And then if we get up to the next target, maybe 76% gain, we're looking at a 4 cent. Now let's keep moving on up. All right. And then we got the third target, which is the 6 cent. All right. And of course, fourth, 9 cent. And then our fifth final one is 10 cent. Now, this is all based off of this particular impulse. Okay. Now, when you look at this chart, you see you had this big, huge, massive sell off at 36 cent or whatnot. Well, what happens is so many people believe that, oh, we're going to get back to 36. Well, this doesn't show that it moved from somewhere down here and it went up to here, meaning that we have true liquidity or we have some type of true demand to push it up here. What happened is when Jasmine was launched, uh, the insiders started selling and dumping. So it became a huge supply zone and just price just cradled down. And that typically happens. And this is why the stock market has lockup periods to prevent stuff like this. Because if they didn't have lockup periods, you have somebody like Meta or Amazon, let's say they have an IPO, and as soon as they go live trading the next day, if everybody inside the organization can say sell, they probably would. So they have lockup periods to where uh, people in executive positions or key stakeholders, they may have to go 6 months to a year out before they can even start selling. And that's for good reasons. Right. So crypto market is not fully regulated. So you don't have these. So they can just sell immediately. And that's typically what you see as soon as something comes on the market, it cradled. All right. And it probably dropped over 90 something percent. Let me see. Yep. It dropped 97%, guys. That's a lot. So imagine whoever bought here, who bought here, it just got slaughtered, right? And this is the reality of dealing with crypto. I keep telling you guys, you gotta treat crypto as if it's a penny stock. And the reason why we have to treat it like that is, for one, OTC markets, their regulation is totally different than your blue chip stock markets, like the Nasdaqs and things like that. And you have to understand liquidity, right? This shows me that there just wasn't enough liquidity. There wasn't enough people in the market, so therefore all these sell pressures just cratered it. Right now, this is where the game starts, in like the just like it does in the penny stock market. All right, you basically have an accumulation zone and you have a breakout. All right, but you still have to be careful. Why? It's because this could still be manipulation. It still could be. What I mean by that is just a small group of people who can control price. All right, so all it takes is maybe somebody could put a $1 million order in, and it can artificially push up. So we do want to be careful of that. Okay. Now the good thing is we got to look at some of the volume. So let's look at the volume. All right. So right now with the volume, we're looking at 238 basically million in volume. That's pretty good. It's decent. All right. Um, and the market cap right now is sitting at basically 1.1 billion, some change. Okay. So 24 volume is pretty good. Now I guarantee you when it cradled the way it did a few years ago, that volume was probably low. Wasn't a lot of buying pressure coming in. Okay, now to still have a large supply, we do have to look up and see if they're going to be doing some burns in the future. Maybe, maybe not. But because they're using it as an ecosystem, you do need 50 billion because you're going to be having a lot of buying and selling, um, or using the Jasmine coin to access data and use the platform. So that's pretty good. So this is why you shouldn't really supply matters, but then it don't. So that's why you look at Sheeb. Sheeb is also building an ecosystem as well too. So sometimes you need those in so it can flourish. But the transactions, the moving in and out, will create value for the ecosystem. All right. Of course, some platforms. I'm using a different platform to do the charting. So we saw I was like 30 something cent, but it actually was at $4.99. All right. And this is probably before it got on major exchanges. So imagine somebody buying this thing at $4.99 and then it went all the way down to low, which was in December of 2022, to 0.0027 of a cent. That is ridiculous. That is a huge drop. Okay. Now, as great as this technology is, or some of the things they're doing, that's what you guys got to focus on is that, listen, just because it sounds great, you got to look where you're buying at. You got to be careful. And those who know how to trade penny stocks, they don't touch this. They don't touch this at all. All right. What happens is we use a system. All right. We build watch lists. We look at what has started to run, or what's being popular. We put on our watch list, and then we track. We want price to come back down. Now, when you're dealing with something new, you don't have any data. You can't look left. There's nothing left. All right. You see this dinosaur down here? That means this is the origins of when this was created based off of this. Okay. Now, um, now I can look left. I got this right here. This is a key area right here. I have data. I can look left. So I can use that as targets. I also have what? I have a base. I have a base. I have a base. So what am I going to do? I want to now say, listen, I want to be alerted when price reaches back maybe to these levels. Now you may say, Eric, what if we missed it? What if it never comes back? Well, I'm trying to give it to you based off of the trading mind. The trading mind says, I need this to be retested before I can get in. That's what the trading mind does. Okay. Now, here's another trader who may do retests after a breakout. All right. So we had another basically flat pattern we had right here. All right. and you can have your pole here. Set it on top. All right, you clearly see our targets was hit if we would have took that trade based off here. But here we go. All right, we break out. We come back in. This is a retest trader. What are they doing? They retest. They're looking to get back in. Why? Because market has come back into this structural area. Because now they're looking for what? Higher high, higher low. Right? High, higher low. Higher high, higher low. Now they're looking for another higher high. Okay. So these are the retest traders. So different types of traders are out there to take this. Okay. Now, for most part, most of us are probably long-term investors, so we're not really worried about this. However, if I am looking to do what? Accumulate and add to my position, I want to see price come back and retest this particular area. Okay. Now, once again, you may say, what if it never comes back? Well, guess what? We don't. I don't bank on one crypto project or one stock to be my all. But I've already done the work down here. I'm just not coming into the market and looking to buying at these particular levels. Some of you may. So that's on you. So this is not financial advice. You may want to buy at 2 cents, but that's some of the things we try to teach at Dark Horse investors, like to not be slave to your emotions and doing what everybody else does. That's what the market expects you to do. And they want you to come in here. While they could probably start unloading on you because they want price maybe to come back here. Now, it may not ever come back here because there will become a start of a true bull run again for altcoins, and it's not going to look back at these levels. And what we want to see over time is a healthy base form support, and we don't visit those levels again. And that's what we need for altcoins. These 90% drops, it needs to become something of the past. And we need to get better and better at holding the value points. Instead of 90 something percent, maybe we start seeing 50% in the future. And as we keep growing, it gets little and little. You want to get to a point where a catastrophic drop in crypto is like 20%, and that's it. And that's when we'll be in healthier markets. So as we get more regulation, we get more institutions involved, more of these cryptos are part of the mainstream, that's what you're going to see. All right, so this is done. I'm done with this video. All right, but check out JasmyCoin. Make the right decision for you and your family, what you want to do with it. If you are in it, just do some more research. Go ahead and read up about it. Develop a plan, and that's the things that we do. All right, we focus on plans. All right, and so that's so I got some of these plans here. All right, so strategies to help you if you're already part of the group. Hey, knock out these strategies, keep it moving. All right, hit the like button, subscribe. This your boy E White. I'm out.